46 challengers are vying to unseat Newsom, but Democrats feel confident the first-term governor will prevail in this recall effort. For more on this, I want to bring in Steve Large. He's a reporter for our Sacramento station KOVR and is traveling with Governor Newsom. So what are you hearing from voters, and what is Governor Newsom's message in these final hours of voting?
Yeah, we're live outside the California State Democratic headquarters, and they're inside there telling getting the vote out, I should say, and making sure that the turnout is what they want it to be. And to this point, you know, the big question was going to be the turnout. And the numbers showing right now are that, in fact, it's resonating with Californians on both sides of the aisle. Republicans and Democrats have both in early voting already cast 46% of both Republicans and Democrats have cast their ballots. So by the end of this day, at 8 o'clock, when the polls close, we are going to see, you know, that there was a lot of enthusiasm, really, both on the Democratic side and the Republican side. At this point, it's the Republicans that are really going to need a Hail Mary to overcome this 2-to-1 ratio of Democrats registered in the state to Republicans.
Steve, it's good to see you again. And, you know, for a show called Red and Blue, I'm glad you got the memo and dressed appropriately there with your tie. Democrats brought star power, including President Biden, Vice President Harris to California to campaign for Governor Newsom. How have those visits been received in the state? And do we get a sense that they've helped juice turnout and interest?
I think there's no doubt that that is kind of how the governor wanted to frame this early on, is that this was a Republican recall in a heavy Democratic state. And, you know, he was able to carry that message all the way through this recall campaign, because no other high-profile, prominent Democrat did end up entering this race. So he was really able to carry that in a very succinct message, not a muddy picture at all. And then when it still appeared that Democrats just might not turn out the way that they felt they would need in order for to defeat the recall, they brought in this star power. They brought in the president, as you mentioned, the vice president, Elizabeth Warren, an advertisement by Barack Obama. And all of this really, I think, to hit that point home really hard, that this was, they wanted to frame this as really a campaign against Donald Trump and Trumpism.
Well, if Governor Newsom does hold on to his job, what are some of the top issues he'll face this year? And could we see him use a possible victory to further his agenda?
I think there's no doubt about that. And it's really depending on how wide the margin of victory could be, is going to depend on whether people really see him having a mandate to not only continue with his policies, but maybe even double down. You've got some huge issues. This is a state that really is in crisis when you talk about the homelessness issue, when you talk about wildfire issues. There is no doubt that this is a state that has been in a lot of trouble. Violent crime has risen as well. So there are certainly some serious issues. But if, you know, the governor is able to hold on to this race, and all indications are at this point, just based on turnout alone, that is going to happen. It's going to depend, I think, on the margin of victory here, on whether or not he's able to kind of double down on his policies.
Steve, the operations you work for, CBSN Sacramento and KOVR, CBS 13, are going to have coverage throughout the night. Elaine and I both will be popping in on KOVR and our sister stations KCBS and KPIX in LA and San Francisco. What in the Sacramento area are you and your team going to be monitoring for the rest of the evening? Are there any areas specifically in that part of the state where you'll be curious to see the turnout and the results?
I think Placer County is one area that we can just look at that as a Republican stronghold. You had business owners, restaurant owners who actually sued the governor. There are more registered Republicans than Democrats in that county, which is one county north of the county of Sacramento, which is a Democratic stronghold. So you really do see some division in this area of the Valley of California. There are some very deep red counties, but those counties just don't have the populations to really have that impact that recall proponents would need.
All right, we cannot wait to see what happens. Steve Large. Steve, good to talk to you. Thank you so much.